we have completed chapter 1. Now let us start with chapter 2, quadratic equations. Before directly going to the quadratic equations, you have learnt 9th standard about the polynomials. So, types of polynomials. You know that expression of type like 2x plus 7 or 2x squared plus x plus 9 or x cube plus x squared minus x plus 8. These are examples of polynomials. You have also learned types of polynomials. We have got types of polynomials. First one, that is linear polynomial. What is linear polynomial? Polynomials with highest degree as 1. Highest degree as 1 is called a linear polynomial. For example, see 2x plus 7. This is a polynomial and its highest degree is 1. Degree of the polynomial you had learned 9th standard. The degree of the polynomial is here 1. Suppose if I take y plus 9, the degree of the polynomial is, the degree here is only 1 and only one variable is there. This is an example of linear polynomial. This is also an example of linear polynomial. If I just write a, here the degree of the polynomial is only 1. Then also it's a linear polynomial. So, such are like, for example, 4x minus 8. This is also an example of linear polynomial. Now let us go with the second type, that is quadratic polynomial. Now, quadratic polynomial. As like a polynomials with highest degree as 1 is called as linear polynomial. So also quadratic polynomials with highest degree as 2 is called as a quadratic polynomial. So, polynomials with highest degree as 2 is called a quadratic polynomial. Example, 5x squared minus 7. This is an example of quadratic polynomial. Or 2x squared plus x plus 9. This is an example of a quadratic polynomial because the highest degree of this polynomial is 2. Here also highest degree of the polynomial is 2. If at all it is given only 10x squared, then also highest degree of the polynomial here is 2, then also it's a quadratic polynomial. Now another example, suppose 3x squared minus 2. This is also an example of quadratic polynomial. Now we have got cubic polynomial. Cubic polynomial. Again the same thing. Polynomials with the highest degree as 3 is called as a cubic polynomial. You have learnt all this in 9th class. Three is called a cubic polynomial. Example, 6x cubed plus 7x squared minus 2x plus 8. It is a cubic polynomial where the highest degree of the polynomial is 3. Another example, suppose 9x cube only given. This is an example of cubic polynomial. Again example, 2x cube plus 7 is a cubic polynomial. 10x cube minus 2x plus 8 is an example of cubic polynomial. Now let us learn index form of the polynomials. See, this is an example of polynomial. I have written as 5x squared plus 2x minus 3. Here the degree, it is arranged in the descending order. Here the degree is 2. Here the power or index is 1. And here it is, the variable is not there, then also it is minus 3x raised to 0. So when it is in descending order 2, 1 and 0, then this is the index form of the polynomial. Index form. It is in index form of polynomial. Now, if I write, for example, if I write 3x raised to 4 minus 7x plus 2x raised to x cube minus 2, then this is not in index form. It's not in index form. Not an index form of polynomial. Not in index form. This we can arrange it in the index form as like this way. The highest power is 4. So 3x raised to 4. Then plus 2x cube. Then you don't have x squared. So we can write it as 0x squared. Then with x, variable x, minus 7x. Then the constant term, or it is the term with the variable having the index as 0. That is the constant term. So you can see the descending order of the power of the variable as 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. When it is written in this form, then it is the index form. Index form. This index form can be also written as, this is in the descending order of the power of the variable. It can be written as in the ascending order of the power of the variable as. I can write it in the opposite way. Minus 2, the constant term, minus 7x plus 0x squared plus 2x cubed plus 3x raised to 4. This is in the ascending order of the power of the variable. This is also in the index form. So you have learnt how to write the polynomial in the index form. Now let us go with the coefficient form of the polynomial. Coefficient form of the polynomial. Example. Now, if I take this example, 3x raised to 4 plus 2x cubed plus 0x squared minus 7x minus 2. It is in the descending order of the power of the variable. Then the coefficient form will be form of polynomial polynomial, we can write it as is in this form, polynomial of px, because the variable is x here, is in this form. You have learned we have to take only the coefficient, that is 3. Next coefficient is 2 plus 2. Next one is 0 and the next is minus 7. The next constant term, the last one, is 2. So when we write this in this form, then this is the coefficient form of the polynomial. Example 2. If I take an example as x raised to 5 minus 10, suppose, then this is, first of all, you have to, it is not in the index form, you have to write it in the index form. So index form will be x raised to 5 plus 0x raised to 4 plus 0x cube plus 0x squared plus 0x plus 0, minus 10, because the constant term is minus 10. So this is in the index form of the polynomial. Now the coefficient form of this will be polynomial of px, again we can write. Now here coefficient is 1, then next 0, the next one with power as 3 is 0, 4, see, 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, then last minus 10. So this is the coefficient. This is the 1 is the coefficient of the x raised to 5, then 0 is the coefficient of x raised to 4, 0 is the coefficient of x cube, again 0 is the coefficient of x squared, 0 is the coefficient of x, then minus 10 is the constant term. So this is the coefficient form of this polynomial. So you have learnt about index form and the coefficient form of a polynomial. You have learnt about polynomials. Now let us learn what is quadratic equation. Coming to the chapter. Now look here. When a quadratic polynomial is equal to 0, when it is equal to 0, then the equation is a quadratic equation. With the example, you will learn more in a better way. For example, if I write 2x squared plus 9x minus 3. This is a quadratic polynomial as you have learnt before. But if this is equal to 0, then it becomes an equation. It is an equation. Then such a type of equation is called as a quadratic equation. Do you understand? Now see, when a quadratic polynomial is equal to 0, then the equation, when I write it is equal to 0, it becomes a polynomial is converted to an equation, and such a type of equation is called as a quadratic equation, where the highest power of the or degree of the polynomial is 2. So it is a quadratic equation. So this is an example of quadratic equation. Another example, suppose if I take a 7x squared minus 3 or minus 4. This is also a quadratic equation because the highest power is here, or degree of the polynomial is 2. Then it is equal to 0. It is a quadratic equation. So this is what about a quadratic equation. Now let us learn about standard form or general form of a quadratic equation. Now, standard form or general form of quadratic equation is always in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, where a, b and c are real numbers, but a is not equal to 0. A cannot be 0. B can be 0, C also can be 0, but A cannot be 0. So A, B, C are real numbers, but A is not equal to 0. So when the standard form or general form of quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. This is the standard form. When I write now, if I give some examples, write the standard form of, write the equation, write the quadratic equation in standard form. Example 1. This is the equation given. Now, write it in the standard form. So, the highest form, standard form will be in this form, that is 7x squared plus 5x plus 2 equal to 0. This is the standard form of the quadratic equation. Another example, suppose if I take then the standard form will be 3x squared plus 0x plus 2 equal to 0. This is the standard form of the quadratic equation. This way you learned what is quadratic equation and the standard form of the or the general form of the quadratic equation.